Hello and welcome to another edition of Derby County Academy in Focus. It's been a really busy few weeks for the young Rams, some of whom you'll get to know a little better later in the programme. But first, the big night of the season so far arrived for the under-18s not so long ago as they kicked off their FA Youth Cup campaign with a trip to Mansfield Town.
That's it again, lovely feed, down he goes. Can Dijon Brown keep his cool? Yes, he can! Into the penalty area, goes for goal! He wasn't far away, was he? Chance for Mansfield, can they get the shot away? They can, what a save! Outstanding save from Jack Thompson. Oh, here might be the chance. Cruz Allen to seal it, no! Derby seal it here, chance for Gill! And yes, they can! Derby comfortably through in the end.
And their reward for that win is a trip to Bolton Wanderers in round 2. We'll check on all the results and upcoming fixtures for the under-18s later in the programme. Now, the under-21s have had to wait a long time for a win in Premier League 2. You had to go all the way back to December 2021 for their last league victory. That wait, though, is now over. A brace from striker Dijon Brown saw Derby take down defending champions Manchester City at the end of last month. Brown twice headed Derby in front in the first half, his second coming just before the interval. He really has done a fantastic job leading the line so far this season. City responded as you'd expect, equalising again not long after the break. It was starting to look like another frustrating day for Derby, whose only positive result so far in Premier League 2 had been a 1-1 draw with Liverpool back in August. But the substitutes made a big impact for the Rams. Jayden Davidson restored the lead with 20 minutes to go. And then Tony Weston clinched the victory in the final minute. Jake Buxton's boys finally have that first league win.
Yeah, obviously proud of the boys. If you're going to wait a long time for your first result against one of the best academies in the country, if not the world, Man City is obviously a great feeling for the boys. They've been working tirelessly hard in terms of what we've been asking of them. But performance-wise, we were over the moon with it. And like we say, a lot of hard work's gone into it from the lads, and they deserve all the credit they've got.
Was it a case of everything came together for that performance in a way that it hasn't been doing for you?
I think in terms of the squad, the bodies we had available, it was the strongest group we could put out onto the pitch at the time. Strong bench, people who could come off the bench and impact the game as well, which they did. And you saw a real togetherness and a want to do well and perform. They took on the information we gave them before the game and the game plan on how to perform and upset the opposition, and they carried that out. And credit to the lads for doing that.
What's that done for the boys and for the atmosphere? I know morale wasn't a problem, but it must be disheartening when you're not getting results. So to get a win like that against that opposition, what's that done for them?
I was part of the process beforehand, and his last win was at Arsenal away, myself and Pat a long time ago. So I've been through the process of not winning games with the 21s, going to the 18s and them not winning games. And it's been tough. And we've just had to wait for the players to come, the younger boys to progress and get a little bit older, and get some behaviours into them and get some principles into them players. And it has been tough, but not at any point have we believed it wouldn't turn. And credit to the staff, what I work with and as a phase, a PDP phase, we've all stuck to his task, continue doing his work as hard as possible. The analyst department between James and Eve have continued to knuckle down and provide the clips and the information for the players. The sports science department in Will and Dan have continued tirelessly every day to physically make sure that the players are trying to improve. And then the coaches out on the grass have been making sure that we continue to give the same messages to the players across both groups. And you can see now between both groups that performances are key. And along the way, we're going to pick up some results, and there's going to be some positivity and some players push through and hopefully be knocking on the first team door.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it in a moment or two. You have been getting results and winning games in the Central League. How useful has that been, and those extra games for you this season?
Yeah, so the conversation I had with Matt Hale, the academy manager in the summer, was about providing different opportunities for the players in different environments. Playing against Lincoln, Mansfield, Huddersfield, which is different challenges. And we wanted to give a variety to our programme to make sure that can the players deal with playing against Manchester City and Liverpool, but also rolling the sleeves up and having the character which it takes to get into our first team. So we believe the Central League and Central League Cup provides that, and the performances have been excellent. So it's been good for the boys.
You mentioned Matt Hale, a couple of months into the job for him. Craig Fleming's come in, and there've been other additions as well. Can you give us a bit of insight into how all the relationships work and the impact that Matt and the new arrivals have made?
I think, being honest, when change happens, everybody's a little bit tight and a little bit cautious and worried, and we get fixated what we've been doing for a long period of time. But there's been change implemented. And more we get to work with Matt and Craig, and we come together as a group, more you can see the way of working. And there's been signs of improvement, not only individually but as a team. Craig's been brought in to obviously put in the Gamecraft manual, which is like a playbook for the old academy. And we're just working through that now and putting that in place. But I think relationships are getting stronger. I think it's been good. I think it's only positive for the football club.
And obviously success helps everyone feel a bit better in terms of results, but also players getting into the first team, which is what I guess it is all about. And over the last week or so, you've had a number of 18s and 21s. Tony Weston is obviously going to grab the headlines with his goal. How did you feel watching that Wolves game and seeing all the boys involved?
Well, first and foremost is the opportunity is key, so we can continue to do our job and make sure we prepare the lads as well as possible for the first team environment, setting them challenges and tasks and questioning their character and making sure that they get the right prep. But ultimately we need the first team manager to give the boys the opportunity, and thankfully after conversations with the first team staff, the opportunity's been there. I mean, you never know how the lads are going to do until they get that opportunity. Very similar to Cashin and Liam Thompson getting their opportunity through administration, and they grabbed that opportunity. And I'm hoping that the boys who have been in and around it recently, they'll get more chances, more chance to be in the gaffer's eye line, train with them, and then it's up to the boys to produce what we know they can produce.
How do those conversations happen? Because I suppose the first team are very busy watching the first team. You're the man that sees the 21s and the 18s train every day. Are they, Paul Warren and the staff, coming to you and saying, OK, who do you think's ready? Who do you think we could use? Is it that sort of conversation?
Well, there's constant communication in the morning regarding training groups, sometimes positionally. So sometimes if there's a player short, the opportunity normally comes. If somebody's injured with the first team, you normally get a little nudge to say who's available in midfield or at fullback. But there's plans in place in terms of our top talented players in exposing them to first team football as much as possible. Like we say, when the opportunity is there, it's up to the players to take it. But communication's been good.
How much do you watch the reaction of players, sort of the first session back with you after they've had that first team experience, to see how they handle it? Because I can imagine that's quite an interesting dynamic for them as well. Yeah,
so I try and prep the players, and as a group of staff, I'm very, very lucky the staff we've got is in. Bradley Johnson's obviously played, Ross the goalkeeper coach has played, Briggs has played, Flem's played. So we've got a lot of experience around us to know what to expect when the boys come back after being with the first team. We try and preempt that by having the conversation before they go. So making sure that the boys are aware that consistent attitude is required. So disappointment with giving the ball away with the first team, you can't be throwing your arms around and showing too much disappointment. You've got to react and get on with it. If you aren't the starter, or if you have to be pulled out of training to be a sub in training, which happens, you can't be throwing your arms around and showing disappointment. And then how are you going to react? How are you going to react when you come back with the 18s or with the 21s? Are you going to get ahead of yourself, or are you going to continue to make sure you're at it? For instance, today, Fapatu came on for the first team last night, and he's back training with the under first years today, the under 17s. So to see how he reacts, and it's another test for him.
Jake Buxton there, and that victory over Manchester City, probably the highlight of the season so far for the under-21s. They have been picking up wins pretty regularly in the Central League, including a 7-0 thrashing of Huddersfield last time out. 5 matches between now and Christmas for the 21s, including 2 trips to Notts County in League and Cup. They face Reading and Southampton in Premier League 2, and they're in Derbyshire Senior Cup action as well. We'll check in on the under-18s a little later. First, the Derbyshire Windrush exhibition visited Moor Farm earlier this month. It's a tribute to the enduring legacy of the African Caribbean community in Derbyshire and those who travelled to the UK at the end of the Second World War. Take a look.
I've recently done a Windrush exhibition to celebrate 75 years of the Windrush ship arriving. So my input today is I was the next generation on from Birdshell and Irvine, so I played in the Caribbean All-Stars junior side, and we dominated the leagues in the early 70s to the point where I remember at Darley Fields, a lot of the Derby County players then used to come and watch us on a Sunday morning. Archie Gemmell and Kevin Hector and Roy McFarlane used to stand and watch us and ignore all the other teams that were playing because we were that good. So it's just basically relaying that to the youngsters today, making them aware of what these guys went through to pave the way for what they are doing now. So yeah, it's just about the journey, the Windrush journey from 1948 up to today.
Well, when I left school, 1966, 67, wanted to play football, and there was no local team that would let us play. So we decided to actually form our own team, which was very difficult because it was all young apprentices. We wasn't earning a lot of money. And with that, but we managed collectively to save, and we bought a football strip, and we named the team Caribbean All-Stars. It was very difficult because when you don't have black teams, you face a lot of prejudices. But having said that, we rose to the occasion.
We were very successful, and to a lot of people, it was something to look up to.
Yeah.
But the young players now, I mean, they don't know what it was like in those days.
Hopefully, we sharing our story with them will make them realise how far they've actually come.
A fascinating and really valuable insight for our young players there. Now, earlier in the show, we told you about the under-18 success in the FA Youth Cup, and we thought it was about time you got to know the boys a little better. So here they are.
Hi, my name's Lennon Wilden, and I play striker. Yeah, the season's doing well. Got a couple wins. Obviously, with the new first years coming in, it's obviously we've got to get used to each other and how we play. But I feel like we're getting the hang of things now. And for me personally, it's a lot better than last season. Scoring goals and assisting. So yeah.
What sort of player are you? How would you describe yourself?
I mean, I've seen I get called old-fashioned frontman, but yeah, I like to say I can do a bit of, not everything, but I like to get on the ball and try kind of create things, but I can also obviously score goals as well, which is my job.
Harry Hawkins, centre mid. When I was younger, I always looked up to Will Hughes. You know, obviously he was blonde, so my mum always used to say, "Oh, you're going to be the next Will Hughes" and stuff. And I always loved watching Derby County when I was younger, and I always used to watch him. So he was my idol growing up.
Do you ever think about the fact that, you know, give it a year or two and you could be Will Hughes for someone in the way that he was for you?
Yeah, I do think about it sometimes, but obviously Will Hughes is a big name playing in the Premier League now, but obviously I'd quite like to make a name for myself as well.
Billy Goff, left back. I like to get forward and use my pace and try and help out the attack as well as helping out defence and trying to keep clean sheets.
And what about in the current game? Who do you sort of really admire?
Robertson at Liverpool. I think he's like a big player to look up to, especially for my position. Obviously getting forward, getting assists and working back as well.
My name's Dan Cox and the centre off. I've really enjoyed it, always look forward to coming here, never really missed a session kind of thing. Had some different times in the last couple of years, been injured a lot, so that was different, a bit hard watching on the sidelines, but no, I've really enjoyed it. Coach have been very helpful, players around the building, everything, everyone's kind of behind you. Great club in that sense.
Jack Perry, right back. Most of the boys in the team have been here since I've been here, so we're quite a close group, so I know most of them really well.
Tell me about your teammates then. Who are the big personalities in there?
Harry Hawkins is one of them, Kai, captain, and Lennon Wielden's quite funny, so.
I'm Jack Thompson, I'm a goalkeeper. Yeah, I've been at Derby about 8 years now. I think this is actually my 9th season. Came here as a 7-year-old, playing left wing on an open trial out on the Astro down there, and they asked me to play in goal after that. And sort of ever since then, I've always been here. You know, I've always enjoyed my times here and progressed through every single age group. Obviously, enjoy every day as everybody else does.
Jaden Davidson, and I'm an attacker. I think as a kid, it can be tough. But I think it teaches you a lot and sort of molds you into the man that you need to be to survive in the football environment. So I think, yeah, it's done very well for me. It's been very good for me.
What sort of player are you?
Attacking, flary player, I'd like to say. Like to impress, create chances, should be exciting on the pitch.
Kylan Robinson and centre-back. I'd say I'm quite a composed player. I'm a centre-back. I'd say I'm quite good on the ball. I'm passionate, I'll win tackles, you know, I'll do anything for the team.
What do you need to work on?
I'd say dominance in headers and tackles. If I want to go further in the game, I'd say that's my next step to becoming a better player. Winning more headers, winning more tackles. You know, I'll always try to, but it's the technical part of getting up headers, timing those headers.
Farron Simons, and I play attacking midfield.
Who are your sort of heroes in the game?
So, like, a recent one would be like Bellingham, just so quick how he's just flew through the standards, and it's unreal.
Are you able to look at a player like him and think, I can take that from his game, I can take this, or is he just at such a different level that...
No, of course. I think as well, it's like mainly off the pitch as well. I think like how he conducts himself and that is quite, you know, fascinating. I think like if you conduct yourself well on the pitch and off the pitch, regardless of like how you are as a player, like technically and how you play, I think if you follow that sort of thing well, then it'll go right for you.
My name's Dejon Brown and I play striker. Obviously, it's a big jump to go from 21s to the first team. And obviously last season playing under 18s football. So everything happened really quickly, but you just got to try to stay ready, and it's been difficult, but I've tried to persevere through it. At the same time, it's been enjoyable, different experiences, playing in front of more fans and things like that. So yeah, it's good experience.
Thanks, gents. Cheers, lads. Cheers, lads. Have a good day. Cheers, guys.
And we'll introduce you to more of the boys in next month's programme. That FA Youth Cup win was the under-18s' third in a row following victories over Everton and Blackburn. They maintained their Premier League unbeaten run with a point at Middlesbrough last time out. A couple more league games before Christmas, including the trip to Nottingham Forest, Premier League Cup and FA Youth Cup action coming up as well. Derby is 6th in Premier League North, 10 points behind leaders Manchester United and 10 clear of bottom of the table Everton. And that's it for this edition of Derby County Academy in Focus. As ever, you can stay right up to date on the website, dcfc.co.uk. Until next time, goodbye.